Welcome to Stampede Your Business. Stampede Your Business. Welcome to the show today. Boy, do we have some super insight today to what is the insight today? What are we talking? Oh, that's right. It's right here. How data and systems work together. Oh my gosh, that sounds boring, Brett. What are we going to do? Data and systems working together.
Oh my heck.
Brutal, people. Turn it off. Pause. No, don't pause it. Listen to it. It's going to be engaging and interesting. And it's something you really need to figure out in your business, which we are doing at Stampede, correct?
Absolutely. So here's the thing about...
Oh, I didn't say. I'm Bobby Glenn James, host, and along with other host, Brett Rich in the house. So welcome. Now, official, we are started.
We've started the show.
Yes.
Are you listening yet? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's
it's going to be super exciting. I don't care what the title says.
This is the exciting part about how data and systems work together is it all comes back to innovation. Aha. And innovation is exciting.
See, innovation does sound
exciting.
That doesn't sound boring.
I know, right?
Innovation.
Whoa.
So what's the difference between innovation and creativity? I mean, creativity isn't that the same thing?
Well, creativity can lead to innovation, but innovation is all about doing something new, changing the way you do things, or even on a larger scale, changing the way the world is doing things because your business, your innovative idea changes everything. But innovation doesn't have to be big. It can be small. You can make small changes.
But how does innovation connect with this, how data and systems work together? Data and systems work together, and the big takeaway is the innovation that you get from it. How is that?
As you are checking your data and following your information. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just take an example here. If you're keeping track of how many customers you see in a day,
mm-hmm.
how many you see in the morning and how many you see in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're getting an idea of when your customers are available because maybe you see a lot more in the afternoon than you do in the morning. So all of a sudden you can say, oh, I can start putting a little more focus of my time in the afternoon because that's where I see more customers. But wait a minute. In the morning, the customers that you're seeing, even though you're seeing less of them, they actually buy more of your product. So why are you wasting your time in the afternoon, right? So this is where the data and the systems work together because you can now see these things and innovate. You can change the way that you do business by watching the data.
What you get from the data and the systems that
exactly.
You're running. I get it. And with that becomes innovate. Innovate the process, not the commodity. Why? What does that mean? Innovate the process, not the commodity. Why would we say that?
Well, so we've talked about a lot about your business, whether you are a service, excuse me, whether you're a service business or a product business, right?
Right.
And if you're a service business, it stands to reason that you have to innovate your service, your process for serving people. That's part of who you are and what makes you stand out from
what makes you different.
It's what makes you different. When you have a product, if your product works, then why do you need to innovate it more and more? Maybe you do, but that's a whole other that has nothing to do with running your business. Innovating your commodity has everything to do with making a better product, which you always are going to want to do, but it's the process of getting that commodity to market. To the buyer.
Well, and that's why they talk about innovate often or fail often or release quickly and fix it later and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You don't innovate by just sitting there tweaking, trying to make it perfect all the time.
No.
You innovate by doing it and using it and seeing what works, what doesn't
and
work.
getting the feedback from your clientele.
Yeah, that's it. The heart of every successful business is innovation. Is that true?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. If you're not innovating, you're dying. You're quitting. I mean,
can't we just keep going with our little business and not innovate anything and still make good money and live?
Possibly. I mean, it's theoretically possible.
I guess if you start out innovating and then you just flatline and just do what you do,
then you stop growing, and eventually your clients will fall off and slowly trickle away, and eventually you are left with nothing.
Yeah, and most true entrepreneurs would never accept that.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
How dare you?
So
don't quit.
To get to innovation, we've got to start with
quantification. You have to quantify everything. So I mentioned checking how many customers you see every day and when do you see those customers. You want to know how many people are calling your business every day.
If they're in the morning, if they're in the afternoon.
And are they asking for a price, or are they just wanting to purchase something? How many of what product? How much of what product are you selling every day? Maybe you sell bigger ticket items on the weekend and smaller ticket items during the week, or vice versa.
Or maybe you've got these really big ticket items and you only sell one a month, and that's what so it doesn't have to necessarily be, how many are sold every day, but it does have to be on your cycle. How many are sold every year, or every, if you've got a big ticket, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You make this thing, when you sell it, it's $75,000 with this product. So you probably have lower sales. But so it's just about focusing on the quantification, the numbers of that stuff. Why? How does that have to do with innovation? How does that have to do with getting above the other guy?
So let's just take real estate for a minute. A real estate salesperson knows that there are certain times of the year where they can sell more houses. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned really big ticket items, right? Houses are big ticket items. Those are huge. Okay, so that's where I'm innovating from this conversation here.
Got it.
Okay, cool.
$300,000 house.
$300,000 house or more, and I can sell 10 $300,000 houses a year, but 7 of them are all sold during the summertime. Now the question comes up then, what am I doing during the rest of the year? Should I be doing something different? Am I advertising the wrong way during the rest of the year? Should there be a different way to reach my market? Is there a different market that I could be tapping into to sell my $300,000 houses? Or do I sell different houses? Do I sell $1 million houses in the fall? And you can, if you're keeping track of those things, you can actually see where your focus should be to maximize your efforts.
And how is Stampede doing this?
So Stampede is selling various different products now. We've talked about that. We've got our sales site, which is our bread and butter. That's what we do.
It's definitely our base.
It's our base product, and then we have all the other bonus stuff, SEO,
social media, podcasting,
all
books,
that good stuff,
all that kind of stuff,
and all that stuff is on our menu of services,
graphics,
and we're keeping track of. We're watching what we're actually selling to who. And so, for example, with our podcast, Know, Like, and Trust, we're using that to generate leads, and we're meeting with various different entrepreneurs and talking to them about this Know, Like, and Trust concept, and having them share their story and do the whole Know, Like, and Trust with us, with our listeners, and so they get to share who they are, and then we circle back with them and we talk to them about how we can improve their marketing strategy. And so we look at where the holes are and all that stuff. Now, we started with what kind of businesses? We're focusing on specific businesses. Bobby, what was
Small
that?
businesses?
Yeah, what businesses? It was
Health and wellness.
health and wellness, coaching businesses,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that we had a lot of engagement with the health and wellness and coaching businesses, and we've got some we're doing some business with them, and we want to see if there a whole other segment might actually make a difference.
So we went a whole nother way.
We did. We went the opposite direction.
We went accounting.
And we went accounting.
And development. Program development. Programming.
And with that group of people, we have a slightly lower level of engagement.
Yes.
People are not as eager to jump on a podcast and talk about what they do. They're a little more
Accountants
uncomfortable.
are way different.
Yeah, no, they don't like to get it behind a microphone, do they?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see that. But as those trickle in now and we start working those leads, we get to see which ones are actually engaging in the business with us. And even though
even if we got a lot of interest, if you got a ton of interest,
mm-hmm.
but nobody's connecting or
buying,
or purchasing, and you have smaller interest, but everybody knows they need it and they want it, then that's a metric or a quantification that we need to pay attention to.
Absolutely. And then we can actually manage our podcast so that we can focus on the people and the groups of people that will actually make us more
Since
money.
We're on Stampede, we kind of jumped away in the innovation piece. How is Stampede being innovative? I'd like to talk about it because we talked about that a little bit, and we didn't talk about it. How are we innovating?
In the room. How are we innovating?
Since we kind of jumped through it, can we jump back a little bit really quickly?
Sure.
And talk about Stampede's innovation, because we build websites. What's innovative there? That's pretty boring, not engaging. What's the innovation?
So we've actually in the last few podcasts, if you want to go back and listen to it, we've talked about some new innovation that we've recently come up with. For example, the Prospect Power Mid that we're using now to discuss the way that businesses reach their prospects and bring those prospects through their funnel down into to buying their product. But what we started with, the original innovation, the initial innovation that really got us excited about this was how we do create the sales sites. It's not just about, hey, we're going to create a sales site for you. Let us give you the content and we'll just build the whole thing. Just give us your name and we'll slap a name on it and it's all good. No, we don't do that. But we also don't do what's even more common is, okay, we're going to build your website, and as soon as you give us your copy, then we will create something that looks nice and beautiful. We don't do that either.
I like the accent. That was funny. That was good. Good added piece there.
It's a little personality.
So what we do, the innovation here is, so let me get this straight. What everybody else does, they make something pretty. They're waiting for copy, and our innovation is that we give them an opportunity to know what.
We tell them what we want. We tell them the kind of information that needs to go on the site
that we found is the most relevant,
the most powerful
for clients to want to buy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done the research and we said, okay, this isn't just a layout. It's not just a format.
This is just a pretty website.
And it's not just a template. We have specific information that we want in specific places of the website. And you're not just randomly filling in this template because this template looks pretty. You're filling in this template because this template was created specifically to follow the know, like, and trust path, to guide your potential clients down a process of taking action and learning more about you so that they can feel comfortable with you and the choices that they're making, so they can so they can even make the argument that their choice is valuable.
I like it.
So that's the innovation of Stampede.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, orchestration. Let's do the last piece. What is this orchestration thing? Orchestration. That's like an orchestra, right? Like a bunch of music.
Yeah, like an orchestra.
Orchestration.
The conductor of an orchestra.
Yeah.
And so
when we talk about business and we're talking about orchestration, what's the term there for orchestration? What are we talking about?
Basically, you're creating processes. You're telling your employees how you want them to do business.
And this
with
is
your
just
customers.
like what we've talked in the past.
Oh yeah.
That if you don't have a process, then you're letting the employees run the business.
Yeah.
And they just do it at whatever they think is best. And that's just that's not how any franchise in the world works. And franchises work because there's processes. So orchestration is all about orchestrating the processes and the systems, correct?
Yeah. So let me tell you something. You can hire really good employees that know how to make stuff happen, and they know how to get things done. They know how to sell to clients. They already know all this stuff, and they can figure it out, and they've got tons of discretion. You just let them go.
Just let them go.
And let them run, and they'll run your business, and they'll either run your business into the ground or they'll run it into the sky, and you will be the product of your business. Or you can orchestrate everything. You eliminate discretion at the operating level and say, this is how we do things around here. If you have a question about this is how you're going to solve it.
Isn't that micromanaging?
Micromanaging is when you actually sit there and you watch them do it.
Uh-huh.
Orchestrating is giving them a pattern
process for success.
Is giving them a pattern to follow as a process for success. And answering their questions ahead of time.
And if you don't understand why this is important, then you're missing a big piece.
Absolutely.
You've got to understand that if you throw in these because without the processes, you don't know what's working. Without the processes and the quantification of understanding the numbers, you don't know what's working.
No.
You don't know if it's working or
don't.
not. Because if everybody's willy-nilly doing their own thing, whatever they think is best, then you're not going to know what works. One guy will perform great, one person will perform badly, and you won't know why. But if they're both following the exact same process, then you're going to get expected results, or at least understand why something doesn't work.
Now, I'm going to challenge you on that, though, Bob.
Okay.
So Southwest Airlines.
I've heard of them.
Southwest Airlines took on the whole airline industry. And at one point, they had a rule book, and all of their employees were supposed to follow this rule book. And when they had a question, it took them forever to consult the rule book and figure out what they're supposed to be doing and answering the customers. And it was creating some backlog and frustration. And so they said, look,
I'm already thinking of a counter for this. Go ahead.
And so they said, look, there's too many rules here. We need to simplify things so that we can get people through the gates faster than anyone else. Southwest Airlines literally burned their rule book.
Mm-hmm.
Did they lose the power of orchestration when they did that?
I'm going to say no, because there are still processes. There may not be rules of how to engage and how to connect. You kind of use your discretion to have open. But when I go on a Southwest airline flight, they're still telling me about my seatbelt and my freaking... Now, they may do it funny and they may do it happy and all that stuff, but it's still a process. They still follow. They still check all of the doors. They still have a checklist of stuff they're doing. They may not be rules to follow, but there is definitely a process and a checklist, or we would be crashing. The pilots have to follow the checklist. The pilots follow the process of the traffic controller. There used to be one of the airlines used to have your headphones. You could listen to the cockpit, and them talk. And I used to love that. Every time on an approach, I realized really quickly that the pilot doesn't do much. The air traffic controller says every single thing for that pilot to do.
Follows.
He just does exactly what the guy says. He goes, okay, you're going to go third degree. It was fun to listen. For me, I don't know, nobody else, they probably don't do that anymore because it was, nobody cared. But I loved it. I loved knowing how this other guy is in control. And it was a process. They followed it. They followed the procedures. Even though they threw away the rule book on the stupid rules, they still had a process.
And I would even argue that the process, getting rid of the rule book was
a part of the process.
They were actually training their employees to take action. And what they were saying here is we're orchestrating the fact that we want you to take action quickly, make fast decisions, and ultimately, the most important thing is to keep the customer happy, and that became their only rule: was keep the customer happy, make the customer happy. Now, yeah, of course they have all the aviation rules that they have to follow and all the checklists to keep the plane safe and all that. But as far as running the business, it was all about keeping the customer happy, and they were free to do that, and they were free based on the discretion, not of themselves, but on the discretion of the
customer,
of the owner of the business. They're the ones that hand down that freedom.
Yeah,
as an orchestrated move.
I want to. It's perfect. I want to talk this last piece of the spontaneous discovery occurs in the process of following an orchestrated method. What spontaneous discovery of what occurs?
Spontaneous discovery of anything.
Of what works.
Of what works, yeah. And what doesn't
That's the
work.
way I see it. Yeah. And what doesn't work.
That's where innovation comes into play.
Exactly. That's where you start to hone in on the magic of your business.
The magic.
I know that's a goofy word, but it kind of feels that way, that it just magic. If the processes are in place and you can look at the data or look at stuff, then you'll find the magical, the gold dust in there, if you will.
There you go. You find the different ways to innovate. Really, I mean, if you're orchestrating everything, then you can hear when the piccolo is off tune, and you know exactly which piccolo that is.
That guy.
And you fire. Or you retune.
Yeah, that's right. You can retune the instrument. That's right.
that way you can keep
You're
your
fired.
business.
Oh no.
Keep your business magically delicious. Keep your customers happy by keeping your employees happy, and everyone's happy. It's a great way to do business. I mean, really.
I like
awesome.
it. Okay, that wasn't too boring. Data and systems work together, and it isn't boring. It's actually interesting. Quantification and orchestration. That's data and systems, right?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I was a math major in college. I love numbers, but I don't love numbers because I like to stare at numbers on a page. Oh my gosh, there's nothing more grueling and painful than just staring at numbers on a page. That's why I didn't become an accountant. But what I love about numbers is the stories that the numbers tell and the images that they create to really help you to understand your business and see the big picture.
Wow, that's really cool. I like that.
Numbers are awesome.
I like that it creates a story. When you look at it like that, it's much more interesting.
Oh, way much more interesting.
I love it. All right, that's it. It's that simple. Data and systems, quantification and orchestration. Connect those two together to create innovation, to do something innovative in your business and make a difference.
And innovation is the heart of every successful business.
Bam. That's it. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Stampede Your Business. We'll see you next time.
Next time.
Stampede.
Stampede.
Where are we going with it? Was I supposed to say Stampede Your Business first?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. This is Stampede Your Business. Stampede.
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 Stampede your business.